Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of your news flash on Messager Television with me, Vanessa Long. 3 decrees, 5 newly promoted generals, and around a dozen key strategic appointments. That is the scale of the military reshuffle signed by President Paul Biya on Monday, August 3, 2026. The sweeping reorganization of Cameroon's armed forces comes at a time when the prolonged absence of the head of state continues to fuel public debate. The first decree promotes 5 senior officers to the rank of Brigadier General. 1 is from the National Gendarmerie, Elundu Mesmin Magloire Aristide, while 4 are from the Army, Beko Abondo Raymond Jean Charles, Chanko Bwombo Njindam Uma, Epien Ngome Wilson, and Mezui Zo Eli Romans. A second decree reshuffles key position within the Ministry of Defense. Aga Robinson Dong has been appointed Logistic Advisor, while Elundu Mesmin Magloire Aristide becomes Director of Administration and Logistics. Ebakai Polit is named Chief of Staff Major General of the Armed Forces. Cavalet takes charge of the Joint Armed Forces Schools and Training Centers, and Aswalai Blama has been appointed Commander of the International Higher War College. The decree also affects the Joint Military Regions. Melingi Numa Donancien takes command of the 1st Joint Military Region. Rear Admiral Ade Quenti Hillary is appointed to the 3rd and Numa Joseph to the 4th. Several brigade commands have also changed hands, including Ecoman Eve Edgar, who will command the General Headquarters Brigade, and Aziz Njoya Yakuba, appointed commander of 21st Motorized Infantry Brigade. However, it is the 3rd decree that has drawn the most attention. It appoints the newly promoted Brigadier General Beko Abondo Raymond Jean Charles as commander of the Presidential Guard, the elite unit responsible for the close protection of the President of the Republic. Why now? The question carries added weight because President Paul Biya has not made a public appearance since early June, and the presidency has not announced any date for his return. Signing such a far-reaching reorganization of the military high command from abroad, including the appointment of the head of his own Presidential Guard, is seen by some observers as a way of demonstrating that presidential authority continues to be exercised despite the president's physical absence. Others, however, argue that the president's prolonged absence makes the timing of the reshuffle difficult to interpret. Was it a long-planned decision prepared before his departure, or a response to an increasing sensitive political context? The newly appointed MANIDEM executive is already facing its first internal challenge. Meeting in Douala on July 30, party officials appointed Valentin Dongmo to lead a new executive committee 8 months after the death of the party's founding president, Anise Kane. However, Dieudonné Yebga has refused to recognize the transition. In a statement to Agence Moreno, he argued that the only valid administrative documents remain those updated in September 2021 and filed with the Ministry of Territorial Administration. According to him, no new leadership can be considered legitimate unless it is established through the procedures laid down in the party statutes. He has therefore called for the reorganization of a party congress before the end of the year to elect what he considers a legitimate leadership. Those claims have been firmly rejected by the current MANIDEM leadership. Several party officials maintain that Dieudonné Yebga has not been a member of the MANIDEM party since his expulsion during the party congress held on June 2, 2018. They argue that his statements no longer represent the party and do not in any way undermine the legitimacy of the executive elected in Douala. The dispute over the legitimacy of the new leadership, coupled with reminders of the party's internal decisions, further intensifies the division that have persisted within the MANIDEM since the death of its founder, Anise Ekane. Let's remain in Yaoundé to talk about the high-profile Martinez Zogo trial that continued on Monday at the Yaoundé Military Court. The hearing was devoted to examining evidence collected during the investigation launched after the abduction and subsequent murder of the Amplitude FM journalist. According to the testimony of Colonel Jean-Pierre Outulu, the two defendants communicated about the Martinez Zogo case using another phone that has since disappeared. He claimed that the government commissioner who led the investigation did not consider it necessary to recover the device. The colonel also revealed that traces of the missing phone and iPhone 12 were found at a repair shop in the BIYA'S neighborhood. The phone had reportedly been brought there by the repairman's sister-in-law, who worked as a domestic employee at the home of Jean-Pierre Amougou Bellinga. Questioned by investigators, she allegedly said she had received the phone from her employer. However, the device was never handed over to investigators. Colonel Outulu also testified that Maître Chouangang, counsel for Jean-Pierre Amougou Bellinga, had undertaken to produce both the phone and its owner before investigators. The former president of the Cameroon Bar Association has denied the allegation, describing the testimony as prejudicial. The hearings resumed this Tuesday with the continuation of Colonel Outulu's cross-examination. And to end this edition, let us talk about World Breastfeeding Week. As Cameroon marks World Breastfeeding Week, health authorities are satisfied with encouraging progress and expressed worries about the challenges that remain in promoting exclusive breastfeeding. Over the past decade, the rate of exclusive breastfeeding has increased from 28% to 40% according to Public Health Ministry. While this reflects the impact of awareness campaigns, it is still below the World Health Organization's target of at least 50%. Health experts say the progress is encouraging, but more needs to be done to ensure that every child gets the best possible start in life. The consequences of not exclusively breastfeeding are severe. Nearly 9,700 children under the age of 2 die every year in Cameroon due to inadequate breastfeeding practices, making it a major public health concern. Challenges include persistent misconceptions, limited support for breastfeeding mothers in the workplace, and the aggressive marketing of infant formula. Government health officials and partner organizations are calling for stronger education campaigns, better workplace support, and improved assistance for mothers in health facilities, particularly in rural communities and conflict-affected areas. As the country observes World Breastfeeding Week, from August 1 to the 7th, experts stress that increasing exclusive breastfeeding could save thousands of young lives and improve child health across Cameroon. That was it for this edition, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching.
Le messager télévision à l'écoute du peuple.